Gateway Gamers podcast.
Hello, it's Bryan Marvel. How are you guys today? And welcome. Here joined with my best friend in the whole world.
Aw.
RP Walsh, how are you, sir?
Hey, man, how are you? Oh, so sweet. I'm blushing.
Those intros are the hardest thing. I never know what to say, but welcome. How was everybody? How are you, RP?
I'm doing well, man. It's to date ourselves. It's Oscar Sunday, so we're getting ready to go here at the house. We got a little Oscar party planned and a little printable ballot. If you want to take one home, feel free.
Absolutely.
And then winner gets a prize. You got to send me before the start of the Oscars. You can send me a picture of it.
Yeah.
If I was doing this early enough, I would have offered it to everybody, but I can't. But I'm doing well, man. Things are good.
Put it up on the gram.
But yeah, things are good. It's been nice, less busy. Watching a lot of movies instead of playing games, though. But I am playing PlayStation a little bit more. I'm playing Ghost of Tsushima.
Great game.
Yeah, just beat Avatar. I'm probably the only person who 100% completed it, got every trophy, everything.
Trophies are popping up. It was like PlayStation Network was like, what is this?
Yeah, I got the 100% one, and it was like, you are 1.2% of people have gotten this. And I was like, this is a good game. People aren't playing it. But unfortunately, my wife has not been very board game interested lately, so we haven't been playing. But how about you, man? How are you?
I'm doing great. Same. Haven't really been too board game heavy lately, but I've been replaying the Kingdom Hearts series. We kind of talked about that. I want to get Final Fantasy, the remake, the part 2, but I'm just like, $70. My birthday's coming up. I was like, I'll trick my wife into getting it for me. So I was like, let me replay the Kingdom Hearts games just to satiate that itch. And I'm replaying like all of them because we've talked about before, as much as we love those games, I've played them, I don't know what is happening in the game.
Not a clue. Aside from Sora's like main story and Riku, the overarching story, I have no idea.
What is Kingdom Hearts, and like what are these people after, and what's really going on?
I feel like 6 times throughout the games they've been like, this is Kingdom Hearts, and I'm like, yep, that went over my head.
There it is. You just don't even know what it is.
It's always like Xehanort, and I'm like,
this guy again. But
recreate it like 6 times.
Yeah, so that's kind of been my focus at the moment. I haven't even gotten a new game in a while, which is nice.
Yeah.
Just kind of, if we do play, today we have a game day, and I just brought some old classics with me to kind of play. And that's about it. However, on Friday night, my wife did have some of her friends over, so she asked me to get some of the games out, some of the best party games I have, or some games. So I got Taco Cat Goat Cheese Pizza.
That's a favorite in the Ortiz family.
Yeah, that's a great game. Werewolf. I got, 5 other games. None of them got played, except for one. So this one called CDSK. I recommend everyone has at least one trivia game. Yeah, I think you were over the one day and we were kind of futzing around with it. I think everyone should have a trivia game in their collection. I just think it's a great,
absolutely,
type of party game, or something just to break out. This one's the best. It's called CDSK, and it stands for Curious, Delightful, Seasoned, and Knowledge. And it's basically just a normal trivia game. The board itself is part of the box. When you open a box lid, it folds out, and that's the board that you're kind of moving around on. And the goal is just to get from start to finish first. You could do it in teams, but the biggest draw of this game is where you land is one of the color cards you pick. So you get Curious, which is bizarre subjects, and then there's Delightful, which is movies, sports, very pop culture stuff. Seasoned is grown-up stuff you should know.
Oh, that's cool.
And then school of life stuff, and then knowledge is very specific nature, science, history, geography. So it covers a broad spectrum, and I know a lot of people are like, oh, so does every trivia game. This one's interesting, though, because when you get a card, it'll be like, RP, how well do you know Pokemon?
Yeah.
And you can say 1 through 10. So it'll ask you a question.
And my realistic response would be 3.
Yeah, so it'll scale from 1 to 10, which is great because you got the Barstool sports game, and you brought it to our guys' weekend.
Yeah, there's a Barstool has a trivia tournament every all along. It's just they host a bunch of trivia games. It's called The Dozen. So they put out a game, Audra got it for me for Christmas, and so it's just a bunch of stacks of cards of like 12 different topics. And a lot of them are sports themed, but there are like a movie, TV, stuff like that. But
a majority was sports. Yeah.
And even for someone like myself who likes sports, but I'm, not huge, there was like 3 sections on college sports where our friend Bob, who's even pretty knowledgeable at that, didn't really do too well at that either. There's fun other aspects of that game. Sorry to interrupt.
No. But it's perfect for that type of setting. If you're with a bunch of people and you're doing a fantasy draft, you can bust out this game and be like, hey, this is a very sports heavy, whatever, trivia game. Where this one is, and I'm not good at sports, so when we played that down Guys Weekend, it was like any sports question, I'm like, just pass.
I mean,
I don't know,
like
pass.
Basically all of us were like, no. So if we were to play that again, I would just cut the movie deck in half, and so we would have 2 movie sections, 2 TV, 2 music. But this game,
you don't have to be knowledgeable in everything. You could be like, how well do you know? The one I think was like knights in armor.
Oh.
And like her one friend was like, 1.
Yeah.
And it was like, does a knight ride on a horse, a tractor? So it's like, if you don't know it, the first like 2 are like mind-numbingly simple. You're at least getting 1 point. 2 points.
And that helps because then somebody doesn't feel stupid or they feel like they're doing something.
Yeah. And it's fun because like how simple the questions are funny.
Yeah.
That people are like, this is what? Like it's so ridiculous that it's like a good time.
And everybody continues to have a good time.
And everyone's having a good time.
Yep,
So
absolutely. Great point.
But how many the scale that you answer is how many spots you move. So you don't want to say like 1 to everything or you're moving like 1 spot the whole game. But eventually you'll get how well do you know? The one was like kitchen appliances. How well do you know
Star Wars?
How well do you know? The one was like Norse mythology. And like they were like, I don't know any of these. And I was like, what's number 10? And it was something, and I knew the answer. And they're like, how do you know that? I was like, God of War. That's like the only reason, God of War. It was
great game.
Yeah, it was something based like around one of those characters. So CDSK is a wonderful trivia game. If you're ever looking for a trivia game that isn't very specific, it's not Trivial Pursuit, it's not a very specific or like too challenging, you could play this with any age kind of. I mean, too young. I mean,
yeah.
But like it's any type of group setting. You do grandparents, parents, kids, like teenagers. It's a really great game. It's by a publisher called Randolph. I don't know much about them, and I think at the moment it's out of print because it was really hard for me to find.
Oh.
And I think I messaged them on Instagram and kind of said like, hey, when's this coming back? And I think they said March, so it should be within this month or next month. They may be getting more in. I happen to just had it on my wish list on Amazon. One day it popped up on Prime. It was Prime next day, and I clicked it, and I think it might have been like the last copy because even the publishers were like, because I put it up on Instagram and they're like, wow, you got a copy? I was like, yeah, it just showed up. I don't know. But yeah, I think I paid maybe $25.
That's a great price for a
trivia game. Yeah, lots of cards. It has a lot of questions. So yeah, CDSK, I think it's a really great
and I might
trivia
you know how I am with prices and stuff, but a trivia game is something that you can play with everybody that would get played the most. And so $25 to $30, I'm willing to absolutely
great price point. It's a great all ages trivia game. I don't think no one felt stupid. Everyone was laughing the whole time, no matter what. Like no one was like, "Oh man, I don't like." Even if you didn't know it, you're just like, "I don't know, 1."
Yeah.
And it was like so mind-numbingly easy that it was laughable how stupid it was, the question. So
that's awesome.
Yeah, and then I wish they played more, but I think and then by the time they got Taco Cat Goat Cheese Pizza, they were so drunk that like they were just like, all right, like when it's a goat, you have to do, or when it's a groundhog, you got to tap the and they're like, what? And I was like, just put it away.
Were you the game master for that?
No, I was just playing plays. I was on the couch playing Kingdom Hearts and listening to this nonsense. But yeah, CDSK from Randolph Games. Highly recommend it.
Awesome.
Yeah, keep an eye if you're looking for a great trivia game. So, going on to what game we're going to be talking about today.
Yeah, I mean, it's the title of the episode for you guys, but I do not know what it is.
And I don't even know what it is because I'm going to start doing something new. I'm going to give you an option of what you would like. I'm going to give you a basic description of the games and let you pick one of the two.
All right.
So even it's a mystery to me, it also gives you a little bit of what are you in the mood for? Sometimes I bust out a game and you're like, oh. So 2 games, or 2 options are. The first one is a 2-player, very dry,
Okay.
post-apocalyptic, tower defense type game. Card-driven.
Okay.
The second game is a wrestling game. You play with dexterity, so no cards, nothing like that.
Are we actually wrestling?
I don't know. And then anthropomorphic characters with multiple limbs and...
All right, like, why is this even an option? Of course I'm going to pick the wrestling one.
Okay.
Kabuto Sumo!
Kabuto Sumo.
Okay.
We've played this before.
We have played this before, yeah.
I bought the expansion for it.
Okay, all right.
And I've talked about...
We didn't cover this, though, right?
No,
Yeah.
but I've introduced it to you.
What was the other game? Sorry, I'm just curious. Way to freaking convince me. Dry,
Well, there's a reason.
battle defense, Radlands.
So it's
Is
called-
that Cyberpunk?
So it's post-apocalyptic, and you need water, which is why it's dry.
Damn! I would have picked that. Dune. I'm all in the Dune.
No, it's
craze.
Mad Max. It's very
okay.
Mad Max over Dune. But
Pump for that though. Furiosa. Have you seen that trailer?
Yeah.
Looks awesome.
Yeah.
Sorry.
But-
Back to the
so-
topic. I'm pumped for. I'm obsessed with Dune right now.
So we got Kabuto Sumo,
Yeah. I
is
like this game.
a
So
dexterity
spoiler alert.
game where you play as bugs. Let me give you a little stats. All right, Kabuto Sumo, introduced in 2021, is a sumo wrestling insect competition. What's that, like in arcades where you put the coins in?
Yeah, that coin where it
It's,
pushes.
it's called like a coin pushing game.
Okay.
That's the term. Designed by Tony Miller, published by BoardGameTables.com.
Okay.
Is
cool.
the publisher. Plays for 2 to 4 players, 15 minutes, with a weight of 1.2 out of 5. So this is a
Easy game.
easy, simple game. I think it's a great game for families and whatnot.
So we started this game. We didn't finish it because our friends Shane and Katie joined us.
Yeah,
and
I think
we
I just
put it away.
I brought it out to like kind of introduce to you because I
Yeah.
like the concept of it.
Oh heck yeah, I'm down for this.
I'll give you.
There's literally no back,
of the box.
It's just the character names.
the characters and then what you're doing, which is great if that's all you need to know. Funny thing about this game is noise. Turn the box over. Target was selling a version of this, so just like the King of Tokyo game that I talked about
Yes.
when I covered 2 weeks ago, how Tokyo Target gets these scaled down cheaper versions. They were selling like one called Kabuto Sumo, and I don't know what like the subtitle was, and it was a cheaper version of this. They accidentally were selling
this at the cheaper
this
price.
at the cheaper price.
Wow.
So this I didn't know that. I bought it and was just like, oh, this is a great game. The price point was wonderful. I think it was like, it might have been like 25 when I bought
And
it.
what does it sell for? Do you know what MSRP stands for?
I just learned it on
Podcast the Ride.
Manufacturers.
Manufacturer's suggested retail price.
Retail price. All right, so this copy on Amazon currently is selling for $44.
Holy crap!
I don't know what the original MSRP was because it's been out so long, but it looks to be about probably $40 to $45 would have been the MSRP. So like I said, I went to Target the one day looking for...
Also, not many places sell at the MSRP anyway.
Yeah, especially Target. They
Like the
sales.
big box stores.
Yeah.
No.
But I went looking for it, grabbed it. I was like, man, this is a great value for what it was. The next day or 2 days later, Jerry, previous co-host Jerry, went and bought it. She got the other version. And she was like, mine's different than yours. Like, I have a different... I have less characters and, like, an exclusive character.
That's strange.
Yeah, so and then I looked it up. They completely like, messed up and shipped out
I love
the
that,
normal
though.
version.
I love that for
yeah.
us
And then they
gamers.
pulled it immediately, but I just happened to go day of and grab it.
Yeah, good for you.
But you ready to go play?
Heck yes.
So this is Kabuto Sumo with the expansion
Okay.
Total Mayhem,
Okay.
and we'll talk about the expansion as well.
All right. Sounds good.
All right.
Let's go play.
And we are back.
Let's get ready to rumble.
We're going to get sued for that.
Yeah, I know. I was just going to say, I don't
Let's
own
get
the
ready
rights.
to wrestle.
So, let's get ready to sumo.
All right, so first impressions of Kabuto Sumo just as a game without the expansion. Like the basic.
It's fine.
Okay.
Yeah, it's fun. Looking to just have the way I always base games is if you're looking to just have something, a conversation to play, it's very good. It's very good at that. Price point, if you paid the real MSRP for it, my opinion, not worth it.
Okay.
But it's fun. I think maybe some like arcade-aholics would love it. But it's a cool idea. It's fun.
Yeah.
And then the things that they add to it make it more fun. The
expansion stuff. Yeah, we'll talk about that.
expansion
Yeah.
stuff's cool, but then just the characters themselves are fun and some funny elements. But that was fine. It's
Okay.
fine. Not a rave review for sure, but it's a good game.
Yeah. So, Kabuto Sumo, for people that don't know, is...
What about you though?
I'll get to it. Because I have a lot to say about the base game
Versus the expansion.
and the expansion.
Okay.
But I just want to kind of give like just a basic how to play. If you don't know what Kabuto Sumo is, you're basically just pushing pieces onto a platform to knock pieces off. That's literally all it is. You build a little platform, and then in the directions, depending on how many players, it arranges these wooden discs a certain way around the board. There's tiny disc, medium disc, and then there's big brown ones. So you set them up, and then you put 2 beetle pieces in the middle. And the object of the original game is you have to push these tokens into the middle of the board, and any pieces that fall off, you keep in your inventory. The point of the game of the original is just to push the opposite colored beetle off the board. So that's kind of how you win. You can lose by getting knocked off the board or running out of pieces to push. If you don't have any pieces to push onto the board, you lose. And that's it. That's the basic of it. There's 2 versions you could play. You could play the Junior League, which is just the beetle characters, and then one side just has what pieces they can get. There's separate cards. It just says, like, they all have a signature, like, special piece that's a special for them. So the one character, Sisyphus, is a dung beetle. He has a giant piece of brown that's not circular. It has lumps, so it looks like a giant piece of poop.
Poo-poo.
And then there's Mjolnir, the special piece. He just gets like this really big, giant beetle piece that you push on. So that would be like the basics. You would just get that, and then a few extra tokens. In the more advanced version, they all have special powers, which is real cool because they're all asymmetrical, and you could kind of figure out how you want to play depending on the character. Where going by the same character, Sisyphus, is you stack 2 small tokens, so you would take 2 of your small that you have in your inventory and then put it on top of any piece on the board in the middle. So you like stack them 3 high, and then you would gain a medium, and then you can eventually take 2 of your mediums to get your giant piece of poop. So it's very thematic where you're building your pieces in your hand. You were playing.
So I was Cactus Jack, Cactus Jacked, which is a desert iron claw beetle. Just looks pretty cool. The design of all these characters are very cool.
Very cool.
So his like special move was at the beginning of your turn. If your wrestler is touching the board edge, you add 1 piece or the cactus piece that's associated with him. As you know, Brian's was the dung, mine is a cactus, and you add it to your inventory, and then you can use it. And then he does have a special ability, which you could pay 1 token to an opponent, and at the end of your turn, push in an additional piece. But the cactus actually came in super handy. It's actually what led me to victory. Eventually, spoiler alert, sorry.
Yeah, because it's a long piece.
It's a very long piece, so I used it to basically position Brian into the checkmate scenario unintentionally. But his was super helpful, just having that extra piece. A little cheaty, honestly, because maybe obviously it's intended for you to be on the edge and you push yourself back into a winning spot. So I guess really not cheaty, but
It's very scenario based because if you're on the edge, you're close to losing because you're getting pushed off the edge.
and everybody's gives you that sort of advantage. Like the Great Metamorphosis is just like a giant leaf, so that's going to give you that kind of same advantage. The Mighty Jaw Mike has like these giant like
Mighty
pincer
Jaw Mike's
claws.
cool because if any pieces that get stuck like in his is shaped like a big U, I think.
Yeah, yeah.
And it's like any piece that gets into the U, it's like he's eating. He
Yeah, that's
destroys off
awesome.
the board. So if you were able to push him around the opponent piece, he would like.
But you
win.
have to pay 3 of the small green ones to be
Yeah,
able to get that.
which is good because it takes time to build
Yeah,
up to get it. You don't just start
absolutely.
with these insane powers.
And then there's the Chimerat, which is just looks like Groot's head, basically. So like those things are pretty cool. Yeah.
Then the other game that we played, I was the Pebble, which is the Hercules beetle, and he's the champion, I guess, because he has a championship belt. And his was just you pay too small, and then you put the belt on top of a piece in the middle, and then if that knocks, it's automatically my turn to go again, which is neat. Like just little things that kind of make the game interesting. However, when I got this game originally, I was like you. I was very ho-hum on it. I was like, oh, okay. Like, Jerry and I would play it on our breaks a lot, and it would just come to like a standstill.
Yeah.
Where it was just like push and piece, push and piece, push and piece. It's very back and forth, very basic. Trying to knock an opponent off, trying to run out of pieces was kind of hard. Where I was like, this game's just fine. Like, I wasn't feeling it. I looked into the expansion. What are your thoughts on the expansion? So with the extra additional rules and extra pieces.
So, well, it's cool. We only used one of the expansion.
For the second game we played.
And so we didn't get to use the other pieces, the other card that we had picked. But I thought it was an interesting dynamic, like, because we used the fire. It was like a fire.
It was a matchstick match.
Matchstick match, which you start with a match, like a little
flame,
piece,
yeah, like the torch almost.
and then you can push it on the board, and then if that falls off, instead of going to your opponent or going to your opponent, it comes back to you, or if you push it off, it just comes right back to you. I thought it was interesting for sure. I won't say it. Maybe if we used the chair one, that was the other card.
Or if we played more games with it, which we will. We'll play today with some of the other ones.
It didn't necessarily wow me, but it was still cool. A cool element to add to the base game for sure.
Yeah, so I think the expansion is 1,000% necessary.
I would agree. It's weird that it doesn't come with it.
Yeah,
already.
I think if you buy the base game, you should absolutely buy the expansion because it just adds more elements to win. I think it shortens the game in a way. It adds more elements. So with the matchstick match, it added an additional rule where it kept the basic game of if we run out of pieces, we lose. If I knock RP's piece off or vice versa, they lose or win. But the matchstick match adds if you're able to push the match into the center of the board,
yes,
that person wins. So it just adds another victory option that you kind of have to pay attention to. And that's how you won with it, because I was more focused on watching my match, that my piece, you were able to knock my piece off.
Yes, yeah.
So it just adds like an additional way to win or lose. And then we also had the chair, which actually we kind of forgot about. So that's the other thing. Each card, I think there's 8 cards that come in a box. Each side has either just the item or additional rule. You draw 2 randomly and then flip 1 over, and that's just the item. So we had the matchstick match, which gave each of us a match to push onto the board, with our goal being get it in the middle. And then we also had a chair, which if we played one small piece, it gave us a chair, and it's a little chair meeple. So it's not game breaking, but it's an additional long piece. So you can trade one of your smaller pieces to get this longer piece, again, probably shortening the game.
Yes.
Like instead of building up these tiny ones, you can buy a chair and push it into the middle.
Yeah, the one that I thought was cool was the Money in the Bank, obviously, because that's just such a... even not being a huge wrestling fan, I know what the Money in the Bank is, and this was all just, you stack the Money in the Bank on the center disc in the ring, and if you push the Money in the Bank out of the ring, you win the match. So yeah, I agree. It does shorten it, allows for... if you want to do like a round robin tournament per se, or something, playing on your break and just want to get a couple rounds in, definitely helps.
Yeah, and then there's the chair, which you set up this little or table It was like a little table that we kind of stacked in the middle. And then at the end of your turn, you stack one of your pieces onto the table. So eventually this table would have maybe 3-4 pieces on the top. And at the beginning of your turn, if you have less pieces than that are on the table, you gain all those pieces. Mm-hmm. So it's, again, like a possibility that you're getting more stuff. That's more pieces are on the board, because eventually that table collapses. And it's just 3 giant pieces on the board that are moving the other pieces around. And then, like, I think the one is a Symphony of Destruction, it's called, and it's like a guitar match. You add the guitar to the one person's inventory, and then you pay to, like, play it. And it comes with, like, a tracker. And if you're able to pay enough for the tracker to go up to the top, you win, but your opponent can get the piece from you. Like, it's a good back and forth while also pushing the pieces. And then there's like a coffin match. There's a ladder match, which have additional rules. And again, like, even if you're not using them for the rules, like, you can just have the coffin on the board. And it's a little coffin that you build, which is funny. Like, it's just kind of there. And then I think it's on the side of the board. Any pieces that fall into the coffin, you don't get.
That's cool.
So it's just like...
It shortens the game.
And it's also, there's certain angles you don't want to push from, because if it falls into the coffin, they're out of the game, and you're like, like, you're not gaining them. Mm-hmm. So it just adds a layer of playability that you're kind of doing, and how you're paying attention.
Yeah. And then the other one, too, is the Briar Patch Brawl.
Oh, that one's awesome.
Which it scatters these, like, propeller-looking things.
Yeah, they're just little
There's 16 of them, and you scatter them on the desk, on the board. Yeah. And then when you push them out of the ring, they go into your inventory, but you can't push them, discard them, or do anything with them. But if at the end of your turn you have 4 more in your inventory, you lose.
You lose. Yeah, that's really cool. That one's fun, because you literally just hold the 16 over and scatter them. So even if they fall onto the table, they're just gone. So you don't know how many are going to be on the game. Yeah, I really think the expansion is 1,000% necessary for this game. Like, just to add a little bit of theme.
Yeah.
And a little bit of flair to the game.
I would say flair for sure.
Yeah, and I think I'm pretty sure the expansion was only $20, which is a lot. I know
it's a lot.
You're kind of scoffing at me. One of the things I want to talk about this game, components are fantastic.
Yeah, they're nice little pieces.
They're fantastic little pieces. They're wooden. They're heavy. They're good to manipulate. They look great. They're all very thematic to the character. Like, they're not generic looking. They're colorful.
Them being well made helps for when they get pushed off. Like, they don't go flying everywhere. Like, they just kind of stay where they're at.
If this was a bunch of plastic, I wouldn't be as wowed as I am. No. The fact that they're wooden, they have some weight to them.
It does make you feel like you get a little bang for your buck.
Yeah, I know our difference in pricing, but $20, I think, to add to this game, I think is well worth it. If you like the original and you're looking for more, or this game's become kind of stale, which I think it might.
Yeah.
I think the expansion is unnecessary. So we'll just kind of go down our usual list. The theme. What did you think of the theme? Like, if this was just a regular wrestling game, or like...
Yeah, no, this helped. The theme helps. It's fun.
Yeah.
And then, like, even the way that they stage it, like, this is happening in the... in the forest.
This universe, of bugs.
And this universe of bugs, and it's just in a forest, and, it was cool. It's fun. I always like theming like that. Like, just kind of, getting weird, making it their own, making it like this is the event type, and then using it, like,
And having having a champion preset is also funny.
Yeah.
It's just like this...
like this world we're walking into. It's like basically if the world of Bug's Life had wrestlers. Like,
exactly.
Or ants, whatever. It's cool theming. Definitely A+ on the theming.
Yeah, and I like the characters. I like that their powers make sense to what they are. I love the theme. I love the look of when you're putting the board together. It looks like a wooden stump. Like, it just, all the art style and everything really match. The cards themselves of the characters are fun. They look like luchadors. They look like sumo wrestlers. They're not just generic bugs. They have character. They have, like, a certain thing going on. Like, I really enjoy that. That's just, like you said, as if we got shrunk down into this world of, like, sumo wrestling or wrestling with these bugs that are living there. Replay value?
I think it's pretty good if you have the expansion.
So we'll go original. I'll say Kabuto Sumo Standard, The replay value, not great. Because I've replayed a bunch with Jerry, and I was like, it's just it.
I mean, it's there to be the different characters, but
but it's
like,
same.
do you want to? Like,
Even though the characters are all asymmetrical and like their own abilities, you're doing the same thing of just pushing pieces back and forth and trying to knock the other person off. It kind of gets like
stale.
Yeah, samey and stale after a while. With the expansion, I think the replayability is through the roof because of the randomly drawing 2 cards and having one be an item and having one be a match. So the combination of are we going to have a guitar match with a briefcase on the board that does this power? Are we going to have a chair match with a coffin over here? Like the replayability is like really there. I think it really adds a lot. Ease of play.
Super easy.
This is a gateway game.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Like, through and through. I think this game, because of the option to play simple, like we offered Audra to play, and she kind of went like, and I said, there's no reading involved.
And she went, I
said, we'll play the Junior League with no powers, and she was still just like too busy to be bothered.
Yeah,
which is fine. It was better for us anyway. But yeah, the option to play the Junior League without the special powers, the option to play without the expansion and just have basic, I think, makes it a good gateway game, makes it a good family game.
Yes. Yeah.
So ease of play is there. It's just, hey, you're pushing this, try and knock this off the board. And then as you play more, you can ramp it up and say, hey, this person has this power, and then we're doing this. Like, it's there. I think ease of play, it's a very easy to understand. Table presence.
It's great.
Yeah.
It's great. Yeah.
Yeah, I think this game, if you're walking by and you're seeing...
You're interested for
sure. People are like, what is happening? Yeah, you're hearing clanging. And, I think table presence and presence in general. Like I said, I think the art is fantastic. I think the way the cards are set up, I think it's easy to read. It's very very user-friendly where the cards have the powers, but they show you the token that they're representing. It's not like it's 2... and then it shows the medium token that's colored. It's not like 2 medium tokens, and if you don't know visually, you're like, I don't know what that is. It shows you what you're doing and what you're getting. So I think that was really well done. And then luck and strategy, I
think it's more strategy than luck, for sure.
I think it's luck as well, though, because you don't...
I mean, sure, you can push one, and then you're aiming for one, and then 4 other...
Yeah, or you're aiming and nothing falls off.
Yes.
But there is a strategy where you can manipulate the part that you're pushing the token on. You can move all around the board, so you can aim a certain way. So you get it. It's luck and strategy. I think it's a combo of both. But if you're a person that doesn't like luck, it's not for you.
But I think it's more strategy than luck.
Yeah, for sure. So our other usual new standard. This is a game that's staying in my collection.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. If I were to be purging this on my collection, would this be something you would take? Would this be something you would be interested in? Yeah,
only because it's a game my wife would play.
Okay.
If it was just like me, if I was at the store, like, hey, RP, I'll give you this game for $20. Nah, I'm okay. Because I won't play it, but I know that, like I said, my wife hasn't really been into games lately, but this is something that we could easily break out on a Friday night and play.
Base game and expansion? Let's say if I just had the base game, would you be
I would still take it. And then if we played it and she liked it, I would keep it. If not, toss it.
You would toss it as well. Okay, just want to be a game that wows you enough to keep it.
I mean, if you had friends to, like, obviously,
if you have friends, I know.
But it's a tough concept. But if you have friends, like, you can make this into a drinking game.
Yeah,
like each piece that falls off, you
could put shot glasses around the table.
Oh, that's.
And then when pieces fall in,
take a shot. Jesus Christ. When pieces fall in
into the shot, but you can have like. Some shot glasses be water, or some be...
I mean, whatever you want to drink, like, because people
obviously
don't everybody drink. But, like, also, it's like, oh, I knocked 4 pieces off, then I have 4 drinks to give out. Stuff like that. You could have fun with it that way.
Yeah, don't even think about that. There you go. There's your
mind.
That's
where my Northeast Philly scumbag mind goes. But,
But, yeah, Kabuto Sumo, I think, is a great game. I think... Or, let me Rewind. Kabuto Sumo is a good game. I think it's a good.
It's a good game.
It's a good dexterity game. It's a good family game. It's a great gateway game.
Yes.
Kabuto Sumo with the expansion, which is called, I forget, like
Sumo Kabuto.
Yeah, Sumo Kabuto. Yep, that's what it's called.
Electric Boogaloo.
But whatever it's called, I don't have it off the top of my head because I got rid of the box and just combined them all into one box because I think it should have been
one box.
One box.
100% agree.
With the expansion, Total Mayhem, I think it might be called.
Yeah, it is. It is Total Mayhem.
Fantastic. I think this game is one that I think with an expansion is 100% necessary. I think it elevates the game in such a way that it doesn't change the rules, but it adds enough to make it interesting. It adds enough for replayability, and it's just, I think, completely necessary. Should have been a base box. But yeah, I think it's, with the expansion, I think it's a wonderful game. I think the production's great, replayability, everything I kind of said is fantastic. I don't have any game like this, which is why it's staying in my collection. There's some games where it's like, oh, that's very similar to this, that's very similar to that. I don't have anything like this.
Yeah, I don't, and I haven't played anything similar to it.
Yeah, there's nothing that I have that's kind of similar to this, which is why it'll probably stay in my collection for a long time, because I have this option of pulling out this interesting coin-type pushing game.
Yeah.
So that's it. That's all I have to kind of say about it.
That's all I got to say about that.
Thank you, everyone, for listening. I'm hoping you're enjoying our once a month. We're able to put a little more time, a little more care into our episodes, and then I might be popping into my solo episode here and there. It's tough, but it is what it is. But thank you so much for listening. You have a project coming up. Would you like to promote your project?
Yeah, I'll plug it. So if you have listened to previously recorded it before at all, or this might be your first opportunity to, we are going to be doing an X-Men rewatch series.
What is previously recorded?
Okay.
In case they're first time listening.
If you're first time listening, previously recorded is an idea that I had before the pandemic. It's what started me in podcast. It's what started Bryan, kind of allowed this to also start for Bryan and myself. But it's just, we cover a variety of pop culture topics. We'll do movie reviews, TV show reviews, some character deep dives, drafts, brackets, all that fun stuff. And it's a very different vibe than this show. It's I like to say that this show is a little bit more clean and cut, where previously recorded can go a little bit off the rails from time to time. And we've done plenty of rewatches in the past, and we just covered Mission Impossible last summer, all those movies, and we were doing just out of convenience, one episode for 3 movies. And so I've decided that with the death of the Fox Marvel universe and with Deadpool 3 coming out, kind of jump back and review those movies one at a time, but not in our standard way. In a kind of, in the standard way, we would go through each movie kind of a little bit too meticulously, but that was just kind of our order. Now it's more of just a reflection on it, what you like, what you didn't like.
Yeah, it's definitely more feelings heavy, because I'm in the first episode, spoiler, of the X-Men 2000 movie, I would say, and we talk more about behind the scenes stuff and behind the scenes of where we were in our lives and what our marriage to the X-Men is. Yep. So it's a lot more of that than and then in scene 32 Wolverine did this,
and that's something that that was my mission with this one, because with the other ones it was just too much. It's too much, long episodes, and you lose people. And you lose me as an editor. As the host, I'm like, all right, let's just get through this. Where this has been, and then being able to just cover one movie at a time and have my normal co-hosts on with me for everyone, or Bryan, it's just Bryan and I for the first episode. It's nice because it allows people who I'm friendly with, who love movies, love the X-Men, to just come and join us. And we are going to be covering the X-Men movies individually, but then when we get to something like Daredevil and Elektra, it's going to be a joint episode. Just because there's 15 to 20 movies.
Those movies stink.
And they stink, yeah. Daredevil, not so much. But anyway, long-winded way of saying that we are going to be doing that rewatch, and we're going to be diving mainly into the history of it, into some of the backstory, and if the movies still hold up today, because they are well-made, especially the what kicks it all off are well made, and they're thoughtful, where the other ones just kind of become...
They go off the rails a bit.
They go off the rails. So that's just kind of what we're doing. We haven't had a launch date for it yet. So
So be sure to subscribe. Previously recorded.
And check it out now. So go back and listen to some of our other episodes. They're always just a good time. They really are.
Mm-hmm.
And
just hanging around, drinking with friends.
If you have listened and you didn't like it, I'm sorry. I just wasted like 2 minutes explaining what it is. But previously recorded. It's just like a way. Just think you're hanging out and drinking with your friends, talking pop culture stuff. That's the way that I try and keep the vibe. We get very silly, very goofy, and hopefully you learn something.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I put this with this X-Men rewatch. I've put a lot of time. I always put the time into researching, but I really have, especially with like the big movies. There's some interesting stuff.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah,
Thank you.
Definitely check out Producer Recorded.
Check out our Redbubble and TeePublic store.
Redbubble, TeePublic. If you want to buy some merch, we will always say, if you have not rated or reviewed our podcast or any podcast, it's important. If you enjoy something, give it the stars it deserves, or if you don't like it, give it the stars it deserves, and that way they can change things around.
And if they do change things around, they go back and review
it. Maybe
because that 1 star is a killer.
Yeah.
For sure.
But thank you so much. We'll see you guys in a month for, I don't know, another game. Maybe we'll do Radlands that you missed out on. You're bummed out.
We'll see.
Or maybe another 2 games.
I don't know.
But all right, thank you so much. See ya.
Bye. Kisses. Oh, give me a little back of the box.
Stats first.
Cut that. We can't have controversy in the air.